Let me show you how to go from this to this. Hi everyone, it's Mo from Sparkly Belly. If you've ever tried sewing chiffon before, you probably know this feeling. Your machine eats the fabric, the seams look wavy and messy, and the hem? Not professional. When I started making belly dance costumes, chiffon honestly terrified me. But after sewing yards and yards of it over the last decade, I found some simple tricks that make chiffon behave, even if you're a beginner. This video is part of the Beginner's Guide to Belly Dance Costume Making series, and today I'll be sharing with you 5 easy tips that instantly make chiffon easier to sew and give you a clean, professional finish. Let's get started. Tip number 1. Don't cut with scissors. Neat sewing starts even before you touch your sewing machine. When you cut a straight line with a pair of scissors, you think you're cutting straight, but as soon as you move the fabric, it's not straight anymore. Instead, make a snip at the selvage of the fabric, grab the ends with your hands, and rip. And you get a nice, perfectly straight edge. For other types of edges, place weights or pins on patterns in fabric and cut one layer at a time as best as you can. Use a sharp pair of scissors or rotary blade. Tip number 2, use the right needle. For chiffon, you can use universal needles, but make sure to use the right size. Size 65 to 7/8 is recommended for chiffon and other lightweight fabrics. My favorite is these Chimet's universal needles, and a pack of 5 costs about $7. You can find where to buy them below. Tip number 3, don't backstitch. So you learned you should always backstitch when you start to sew. But if you do that with chiffon, this can happen. The fabric gets pulled into the needle hole and gets jammed. There are many solutions for this, but the one that don't require any other material is this. Simply skip backstitching. Instead, leave long tails of threads at the beginning and end, so once you finish sewing, you can tie them by hand. If your fabric still gets pulled into the hole, you can try placing a piece of Scotch tape over the hole or place tissue paper under the fabric and sew the paper and fabric together. You can just tear away the paper afterwards. These options will help prevent the machine from eating your fabric. Tip number 4, use shorter stitch length. When you use a long stitch length for chiffon, it may come out puckered or bunched up. So try using a short stitch length of 1.5 to 2 millimeters and it'll create a smoother finish. Tip number 5, learn 3 hemming techniques. If you're making dance skirts, hemming will make a huge difference in the quality of the finished product. So let me share with you 3 beginner-friendly hemming techniques for chiffon fabric. The first one is zigzag stitch. This method is a little time-consuming but most beginner-friendly. This one requires a 1 centimeter or 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. So add this seam allowance to your skirt length. First, do a straight stitch with an 8 millimeter or 5/16 of an inch seam allowance. I'll be using white thread against purple fabric here so you can see the thread, but for yours, use a matching color thread. Then using the straight stitch as a guideline, fold the edge towards the wrong side. Here, make sure you see the stitches on the wrong side. Then do a regular stitch over the fold. The needle should fall on the outside of the fabric at the rightmost position, and this zigzag stitch should encase the fold of the fabric and the first line of the stitches. Then trim the excess fabric on the wrong side. Carefully cut the fabric close to the stitches, but don't cut the stitches or the main fabric. That's it, a beautiful and clean finish. The second one is narrow rolled hem. This is another technique using a regular sewing machine, but you need a special foot called rolled hem foot. It looks like this and it has this curled channel at the end. This helps the fabric edge roll and fold as you sew. The seam allowance for this technique is double the seam width of your rolled hem foot. If yours is a 5 millimeter or 1/4 of an inch seam width, the seam allowance is 1 centimeter. To make a rolled hem, attach the rolled hem foot and first fold the edge of the fabric twice towards the wrong side by the seam width of your rolled hem foot. Fold over and place pins for the first 3 centimeters or 1¼ inches or so. Place it under the presser foot and do a straight stitch. Hold the threads behind the needle just so the fabric doesn't get jammed. Go several stitches slowly, then pause with the needle down and lift the presser foot. Now take the edge of the fabric and wiggle it so the fold gets caught in the curl channel of the presser foot. Once it's in there, lower the presser foot and continue stitching. Hold the edge of the fabric with your right hand towards the wrong side by about the seam allowance, and gently hold the edge of the fabric down with your left fingers so the fabric gets curled into the presser foot easily. And you have a nice rolled hem. If you're new at this, start practicing using a straight edge. Curved edges are trickier, so I recommend you practice using this rolled hem foot and get used to it first. And finally, the curly lettuce hem. I love this curly lettuce hem. This technique is a little more advanced but so cute and elevates your outfit right away. All you need is a fishing line. You want a kind that's clear and keeps its shape like this. When you look at the label of a fishing line, it comes in different weights. I recommend you get anywhere between 20 and 40 pounds. Get a nice spool for your project since it's hard to estimate how much of the fishing line you're gonna need. And for this, you need a 5mm or 1/4 inch seam allowance. To start, leave a nice long tail of the fishing line and place it on the wrong side of the skirt, about 5mm or 1/4 inch from the edge. Wrap the fishing line with the fabric like this and do a zigzag stitch encasing this folded fabric and the fishing line at the same time. You can use a regular presser foot for this, but it helps to gently pull the threads and fishing line from the back of the needle to keep it going. And make sure the needle is falling on both sides of the wrapped fishing line. Keep wrapping the fishing line as you sew. And sometimes it's good to pause and slide the fabric along the fishing line. The fabric can still move at this point, and you can make sure the fabric is not bunching up and it's distributed evenly along the fishing line. To finish up, if it's at the end of a panel, slide the fabric and make sure the hem has nice waves throughout and trim it, leaving about 5 centimeters or 2 inches. Then I like to bend it and align the end with the rest of the fishing line on the wrong side. Prepare a double threaded needle and wrap the entire thing in a thread casing like this. Wrap very tightly so the fishing line won't unravel. Or if your hem is continuous like the hem of a circle skirt with no slit, then simply overlap the ends and continue stitching. Overlap the ends by 10 centimeters or 4 inches or so to give it some room to slide inside the casing. This is a great hemming technique for chiffon skirt hem. The hem is so pretty and it gives the skirt more volume without adding much weight. Oh, and actually this technique is very forgiving. If you're not happy with how you cut the hem, the fishing line curls will disguise any imperfection. And if you want to learn more hemming techniques and make a flowy, voluminous chiffon skirt, check out my advanced circle skirt course. It's available inside the All Access membership, where you can access 19 other courses on creating beautiful belly dance outfits. I hope you can now sew chiffon with more confidence. Try these tips using scrap fabric today. If you enjoyed this video, check my online fabric shop guide next. You'll find great sources for chiffon for yourself or for your trip costuming. Thanks for watching and keep sparkling!